welcome back to my channel. Today I'm really excited for my video because I'm going to be reviewing the new Laura Mercier foundation. It just recently launched. It's just now available in Sephora, I think like a few days ago, and I luckily was able to get this sent to me through the Influenster program, and I am really excited because the new Laura Mercier foundation is the Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear foundation, and this is meant to be for people with oily skin. So I'm all about trying new foundations, and it sounds like something that is right up my alley. So we're just gonna get right into testing out this product. And they sent me the foundation. They'll send you like a questionnaire first to see if you're right for the box that they have coming out. And with this one, they did send us like a questionnaire about foundation and also like shades. So I did pick out a shade, but I believe I picked maybe a shade a little bit too light. It's kind of hard to tell when you're on the computer, and I just self-tanned, so I'm a little bit darker than I normally would be, and it's summertime. Along with the foundation, they sent the translucent powder, which is like my favorite powder. It's my go-to setting powder, so I was really excited that I got a new full size of this because it is my absolute favorite thing ever for setting my foundation and my under eye concealer. So I will be using. We also got a little poof for applying the translucent powder. And then on to the star of the show is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation, and this is the packaging. The container is a really nice glass, and it kind of has this like signature Laura Mercier, sort of looks like a, I don't know if that's like tiger print, kind of like that animal print that she has on most of her packaging. So this product claims to give you all of the long wear full coverage that you're looking for without feeling heavy. So they claim that it's very weightless in feeling and that it will last for 15 hours. So that is a pretty big claim to say that it'll last for 15 hours. It does say it's medium to full coverage, so I'm assuming it's more on the medium side, but it builds up to full coverage. And then it says that it is a weightless matte finish. So the fact that it's a matte finish is really what excites me, along with the long wear longevity of the foundation itself. So says that it's oil-free and transfer-resistant as well. It seems like they have a pretty good shade range available. It says that they have 20 shades, so you should be able to find a shade that works for you. I got the shade Vanilla, or Vanille, which is 1-2N, and I think it's just probably a little light for me right now. Still going to go ahead and test it out and let you guys know what I think about the application and the wear of this foundation. So let's just go straight into applying. I'm going to be using one of my favorite brushes, which is the Bye Bye Pores powder brush from IT Cosmetics, and I like this because it's like super dense. It looks dirty, but I promise I have washed this. So this is like one of my favorites. And before I go in with my foundation, I'm going to give this a fair shot by applying the two primers that I've really been loving and using recently, which are two oldies but goodies, and that is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water and the Baby Skin Maybelline Instant Pore Eraser. So these two have been my go-to right now. I should say that I am actually really loving this packaging because it has a pump top, which is awesome when it comes to foundation. So I'm just going to start with two pumps, but I'm going to apply this lightly to the face. So I'm just going to give it a really like light layer first so I can test the buildability of this product for you guys. So I do have some breakouts right now, nothing like huge or like super inflamed, but they're definitely there, so I will be able to tell y'all what I think about like the coverage. Like I said, this is definitely a lighter foundation than I would normally pick right now, and also it is a little bit on the yellow side, but we can always sort of work with it with other products like our bronzer to warm up the face. So it does feel very light on the face. It doesn't feel heavy at all. Pretty sure that this brush probably picked up most of that product right now. But we're just going to apply to the other cheek. Alright, so I did like the first initial layer, and this is clearly way too pale for me right now. I do think that the formula is very smooth and very like lightweight. It definitely doesn't feel like you have a layer of foundation on. Now I went in with a light layer just to kind of see what it would look like, but I think for every day, on days where I have like maybe less breakouts, this would be fine. But I'm gonna go in with another layer, and probably also I would like this, honestly, probably a lot more if it was in my shade. But the feel of it feels very nice on my skin, and I don't think it feels heavy at all. So I'm going to go in with the second layer, and I'm going to use my Beautyblender just to kind of see how that works with this product. So I'm going to go in with another pump of this. That the Beautyblender does apply this a little bit better. I think the like pressing into your skin really gives like a more full coverage. I really feel like I should not have self-tanned yesterday. That was not smart on my part for testing out this foundation. Okay, so I do feel like after adding on the second layer, it does have more coverage, and I feel like it builds really well. Like I didn't see it sort of like clinging to the first layer and coming away. Like it very much like laid down a nice smooth second layer that built up that coverage, which I really do appreciate in a foundation, because it just makes it easy to use it lighter coverage or more full coverage if that's what you're wanting. I do think that overall it looks very matte, which I also appreciate just because I have oily skin, so I tend to go for more matte foundation. I think what I'm going to do is just move into doing my concealer really quickly, just so I can finish the face off and kind of give you guys my full final thoughts on this foundation. I'm like almost out of this Urban Decay, of course. So I'm like dying, trying to use it up to the very last drop. I just ordered more concealer. I'm actually going to try out a Clinique new concealer. I just saw it on the Sephora website. It says that it's lightweight and super full coverage. So I will let you guys know what I think of that when I get it in. This is pretty much like out. It's done. Like I have used it beyond its normal willpower. This is the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm just going to take a little bit of this in this area. I feel like the foundation blended well with the concealer. It didn't look like cakey really or anything. I think that it blended pretty well. I'm going to go in with the translucent powder. I'm just going to pull off the I probably should use the one I currently have open, but honestly it's almost empty, so I might as well get this one opened up now anyways. This is the loose setting powder and just translucent. Tapping some on the back of my cap here. And I'm just going to set my under eyes. This is what I always use to set my under eyes. I love this stuff. It works so well. It's seriously like the best setting powder ever. And because this is a matte foundation, I'm probably just going to focus on my under eyes and not worry about anywhere else, even though I am an oily person. Alright, so I'm going to let that set for a second, and I'm going to go put some bronzer and contour and a little bit of blush to kind of like pull this look together. Okay, so I've done the rest of my makeup. I added on some contour and some bronzer and some blush and a little lip gloss just to sort of like bring everything together. Since this foundation was a little bit pale for me, it still is, like you can kind of tell. I tried to bring it down on my neck a little bit to even it out, and I like heavily applied bronzer, but this shade is definitely too light for me right now, and it's the 1 into Vanilla shade. So I would say if you are like similar to my skin tone, that you're gonna want to go a little bit deeper than that shade, especially for summertime. I think this is like probably a pretty good shade for me, like in the winter, like dead of winter when I'm my palest. I'm not really self-tanning, I'm not out in the sun. So this is Laura Mercier's new foundation. Like I said, this is supposed to be their like longest wearing foundation from their brand. It also claims to be 15 hours and a matte finish. So I would say this is definitely a matte finish. If you like dewy at all, or even like a satin natural finish, you are not going to like this because it is very matte. Even with the foundation being a little bit light, I still feel like once I added on the powder, and I was really going in heavy-handed with that like bronzing powder, it didn't break up my foundation any, it didn't disrupt it any. So I feel like, you know, when it says it's transfer resistant, I feel like it more than likely is pretty transfer resistant. You know, I had it on the back of my hand and I don't feel like anything kind of came up from it, and when I touch my face, I don't feel like it's tacky or anything. I don't feel like it's going to really transfer on me. So I think that that is probably a pretty, you know, true claim that it's transfer resistant for the most part. I feel like every foundation transfers a little bit, like there's not really much you can do about it, but there are definitely foundations that are tackier and will like leave residue more easily. So I do appreciate that. I put 2 layers on, and really even kind of like a 3rd layer in a couple of areas where I felt like I had a few extra concerns, and honestly I may not put that much on if I was using a shade closer to my current skin tone, but since it was so light for my skin tone currently, I feel like I had to build it up a little bit. The good thing about that was I was able to see that it builds really well and really easily. I did really like using the Beautyblender versus the brush that I use, so I think maybe that would be my preferred method with this foundation, is my Beautyblender. It does set fairly quickly, so the quicker that you blend the foundation into your skin, I think the better result you'll get. So working in a smaller area, like doing maybe half your face first, is probably better for getting the finish and like fluid coverage that you're looking for. Breaking down the price of this product, it is Laura Mercier, so it is a little bit more expensive. It is, I believe, I'm on Sephora app right now, so I get the price. So it retails for $48, and they do have a pretty fair selection of shades on the Sephora app, and it already has like 117 reviews that are like almost 5 stars, so that's really great as well if you want to take into account like other people's reviews of it. I always check out Sephora for reviews of products. You get a full ounce of product, which is pretty standard with a foundation. But overall, just from like my first initial impressions, I like this product. I think that it is a really great coverage, and I like that it's matte. I mean, I've always heard great things about Laura Mercier foundations, but I've never really liked any of them because they weren't really for oily skin, I felt like. And so I'm glad that she expanded her range to add something for those of us with more oily skin, and it has a great shade range, which is always a plus as well. If I had to rank this between some of my other favorite full coverage foundations, I would say it's pretty at the top right now. I would say that it is in the same sort of realm as my Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. It's lightweight, similar to that product. Not quite as full coverage, so sometimes I feel like the Remarkable foundation can almost look like you have a mask on because it's very full coverage, but it's in that same realm as that. It builds very easily. I think it's probably pretty similar sort of category wise to my Double Wear foundation that I love. And I would say that it's even like my go-to foundation right now is my Clinique Beyond Perfecting foundation. And that one I really do love, but sometimes I feel like it's too heavy on my skin. So I think that this foundation might be like beating that one in the sense that it doesn't feel like I have a bunch of foundation on my skin, even though I put on like 3 layers of foundation. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know down in the comments if you've tried this foundation out before, or if you're interested in trying it out, what you've heard about it. Just leave it all down in the comments and I'll respond back to you. And I hope you all have a great day, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!